Welcome back, freshwater fishing novices, new viewers. Today's video, we're going to talk about my favorite brand of stick bait, or we'll call it a worm. For simplicity's sake, it's a worm. First I want to let you guys all know, everyone, anglers know, my favorite type of worm does not have to be your favorite type of worm. If you prefer a different brand, fish that. If you have more confidence in a different brand, use that. This is just the stick bait that I prefer to use. And that's not to say that I haven't been outfished by newer anglers and they're using different worms than I am, or different soft plastic stick baits. Last spring I was outfished by my buddy Chris. But that's Chris, and he outfished the heck out of me last spring, and he was using the Berkeley curly tail worms. Let's get right into my favorite brand of stick bait that I prefer to use. Not that I don't branch out and use other worms. If you ask me for a worm and I'm in my kayak, this is probably the worm that I'm going to have easily accessible. Oh, you know what? Before we talk about my favorite type of stick bait or worm, let's talk about color. I'm going to have a green pumpkin. So it's just black flake inside of a olive drab worm. I'm going to have a black and blue flake for sure. And then the last color, not the last color, another color I'm going to have is that June bug. What about colors? When am I going to use these certain colors? Green pumpkin is more when it's really, really clear water and I need a more natural presentation. I'm going to throw that green pumpkin. If that's not working, I'll switch it up and go to that black and blue flake. More in the summer when it's bright out and I want to get some reflection off of that sun. That June bug seems to be pretty awesome too. Now, if it's super, super muddy, I'm going to go for a lighter color, maybe even a green pumpkin with a white belly. Not that I've had any luck using completely white, large worms like that, but white would be a good choice if it's really, really, really murky. Those are the three colors I'm going to throw right there. Green pumpkin, maybe a green pumpkin red flake, black and blue, and a June bug. What the heck is your favorite stick bait? What's the company that you use? My go-to is still going to be a Yum Dinger. Let's just look at this worm a little bit closer. Now you can see how big it is. It's about as big as my hand, about 4.5, 5 inches. Just a standard worm, nothing special, except for this one thing that Yum does. They have a little hook keeper. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's where the hook goes. So when I rigged this guy, so here's the hook keeper over here, right? There's that space, a little slot. So ideally, what I want to do, I want to have the worm sit like that on the hook, nice and straight. So let's see if I can do this on camera. So hook keeper on this side, line it up straight in the plastic, right in the top of the head, right where that bend happens. You come back out and then you feed it down. So my hook keeper's still on this side, and then you rotate. You can see that little bit of line sticking out the top. So it's completely buried, so the line would normally be coming up my reel. And then what I do is I line up the hook so it lays flat. So what I'll do is I'll pinch right below there. And that is how I want my worm to sit on that hook. Weedless until a fish bites it. And you want it as straight as possible. You don't want it rigged up all weird like that. The goal is, when you're rigging these plastic worms, to have them sit as straight as possible. That's nice and straight right there. You can see, nice straight line from my line to my worm. And my hook's in there, hooked weedless until a fish comes up and bites it. And then I set the hook. That is the Yum Dinger. By far, hands down, my favorite worm. Doesn't matter if I'm wacky rigging this, I'm doing it like this, weedless, with no weight, or if I do a Texas rig with a weight on top, I'm always going to use that Yum Dinger. I have the most amount of success throwing these Yum Dingers. I don't know why. If it's the size, if it's the color. I don't know if that has a smell. Kind of smells like a garage. Anyway, my favorite brand of worm. Doesn't have to be your favorite worm, Freshwater Fishing Novice's new viewers. But if you haven't tried out a yum dinger before, not making any money out of this, I'm just telling you, green pumpkin's a good choice. Get a pack of 5. Black and blue flake's a good start. And then when you start seeing a lot of dragonflies in the summer, when they get really, really blue, like that June bug's a great choice. Let me know in the comments what kind of worms you use. Soft plastics. I'm interested to see what you guys have success. All you other anglers, novices, what kind of worms you have success on. Maybe I'll try your brand of worm out and see if it yields any results for me. If you guys like the yum dinger like I do, you know what you can do right there. Or is it? I think it's over there. Thanks for watching the Freshwater Fishing Novice YouTube channel. Hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you next week.